Warning. Hashtag DDP Live is for an adult audience. Hashtag DDP Live may contain material that may be unsuitable for sensitive ears. If you are easily offended, run to your panic room now. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
DDP Live, brought to you by us in the Longbox.FM studios. Just us. And of course, we do like to drink Riley's Brewing. So just
very enjoyable.
A non-paid endorsement recommendation that maybe try some Riley's Brew and try out the Riley's Brew Pub. But
and
again,
it's fantastic food.
Not a paid endorsement in any way. We are in no way attached to Riley's Brewing. So,
nope.
But do get all into that, though. Please do. And Jesus as well, if you're going to try things. Oh, man. Here we are doing up the show. We have a lot of fun. We've been outside. Sorry, we started late because, of course, Cotty. And we've been talking about what we're going to talk about tonight. We got a little carried away out there. Now we're going to do it, bring it out to you. We want you to be a part. You can call us, 492-0450. Be a part of the show that way. You can also be a part on the texting. Cotty and I are watching the YouTube pages. We are watching the Facebook feeds. And, of course, I'm watching Twitter, which has got a question for, let's just address our first guest tonight. Shelby Weatherby, comedian extraordinaire, running a comedy group, Comedy Hop, here in Fresno. We'll find out more about that in a second. But Shelby, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, good. I'm good.
And what's your Twitter address? This was asked by Joe Rivera on Twitter.
That's a handsome name. Yeah, it's just SS Weatherby. And if you're wondering, it's not just SS Weatherby for Twitter. That's Instagram, like Facebook mostly, and YouTube, all that stuff. Any social media, I try to keep it the same. So
you've actually managed to put all your social media as one, as opposed to the people that have like 14 different names for 14 different social medias.
Yeah, I'm even thinking of getting on Xbox Live just to take that one too.
Okay. I'm still all scattered. Longbox.FM, Dirty Dowdy, just try all of those. I'm sure there's some other ones. The Politician, I think, is out there. It's the Twitter account that I started for my sex toy.
Oh,
so
nice.
That's a whole story for another show. We'll talk about that another night. And, of course, also sitting here, was here back for Comedy Night a month and a half ago. Tony Lay has decided to bring his championship ass into the studio. What's up, man?
What up? How you doing?
Where's the belt?
It's right here, dude.
Got to get the prop. Get the prop.
Get it up.
An actual wrestling belt from Oil City.
It's proof he's better than you.
Royal Rumble of Comedy. It was the first year they opened it up to people outside of Bakersfield, and
you won
because did they realize there's like 4 people in Bakersfield?
I mean, there's some really good comics in Bakersfield. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like a cakewalk.
Was Boydston in that?
Boydston took 5th.
What? Really?
Yeah, Boydston took 5th.
I'm rescinding my invite to the studio.
So the final. Okay, so here's the funny thing. It's the Bakersfield comedy contest, right? And top 3 were Richie D. was 3rd from Fresno. Some dude from Slow was 2nd, and then I won. So Richie, before and I rolled up, we were like, it's conceivable that we could. There's no reason we can't take top 3. So when we actually did, it was hilarious to us.
I wish I was there, not to compete, just to laugh at them.
Yeah, apparently there's some beef about the belt being up here. Like some comics were complaining about the belt being up here. So I've been taking pictures around with the belt and saying like #your belt is here. So I don't really care.
Perfect.
I love those guys. I really do, dude. You know what I mean? But if like they knew it was gonna happen. Like they know it's not like I changed my act or I pulled out anything different, right?
Fuck them.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been known for a while the horribly kept secret in the comedy world, the scandalous secret. You know what I'm talking about. That Tony Lay is a pompous jackass.
Oh, it's not a secret.
It's not going to get any better.
No.
It's over, right?
It's not a secret. I mean, it's not like I'm pompous. It's just like I'm confident, right? Like I believe I'm good, and I've proven it.
And
so.
now people are giving him belts.
That's
That's not going to help.
His ego's too small. I forgot to mention, by the way, it's not just myself with Comedy Hop. Tony Lay, equal partner in that. He's been kicking ass and taking names and making sure we can get more people down in Fresno from all that.
Does he get a belt or for the Comedy Hop thing too?
We don't need belts.
No, I just jerk him off at least once a week.
With permission?
Oh man, that's
No, I actually ask for his consent, and 2 times out of 5, I get it.
Yeah, it just gets awkward when I say no and he goes anyway because I'm driving and it's it's not like I can fight him while I'm driving. But
Again, you guys
you can, you just don't.
he has really soft hands, to be fair, though. So
moisturizing is key.
I think that might be the key to our partnership.
Well, you guys again.
Moisturizer?
God damn it.
Absolutely.
You can call in if you want. Like I said, 492-0450, although I got to find my dongle, so hold off on that for a second.
That seems like a personal problem.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking for my own consent. Tonight, let's talk about a couple things before we go into what tonight's show is and, of course, the things we learned. Last week, we came back after a month, and we unveiled the glorious orange envelope that everybody was waiting for, and it turned out to just be a prop of uselessness that I used to hook people for 4 shows. Yeah. But the boycott is still going. The hashtag boycott Full Circle Brewery, hashtag Fire Tully. And from what I understand, we may not have to boycott Full Circle very much longer.
Oh, what happened?
So just saying, you get an internet beef with me, prepare your EDD forms. You can get it at edd.ca.gov, and be prepared to receive checks from the government when you come at me. Just apparently, I'm 2 for 2 now with people that I need to fuck with. That's a rule.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm confused, really. You started talking about paperwork. I was like, boring. I just shut down. I was like,
Well, it's boring enough that we're going to skip past that. Tonight's show, we're going to be talking about Hollywood, the sex scandals, all that stuff that's been going down, that's been all over the news. So the only thing that's been able to knock Trump off the top tier of things to talk about on news, he's taken 1A position to all the scandalous stuff going on, not only in Hollywood, but like the news in the last 24 hours of Roy Moore, the guy running for Senate down in Arkansas. That's all going on. So we're going to be talking about that, not only just the news on that, but we're going to be talking about whether or not there's redemption for those who've been accused. If it's cool to publicly accuse someone, and we're going to be talking about the court of public opinion. And how this can be, where I think this can go. So it's obviously going to be a conversation that I'm sure some people, based on just Facebook posts alone, are going to be hating me, which, par for the course. Line it up. We'll have some fun with that. We do have the clam bake coming, and we have a game tonight if we have time. It was what we were going to do last week, the DJ voice-off. The Rogue Atlas style of it. So,
when you say Rogue Atlas,
I refuse.
What?
I won't do anything in the Rogue Atlas style.
Well, you'll get a belt for it.
Pass.
We'll talk about it during.
There's a matter of principalities up in this bitch.
Harsh words starting off already. I like it. New show, like I said, I want this type of heat. Before we go any further, I think we need to learn or find out if any of us learned anything.
Now, it's time to showcase what we have learned in the last week.
And Tony, because you've been here before, you can lead this off.
Man, what did I learn this week?
That you won't come on my show and play a game?
I will play your game. I just won't play it in the style of Rogue Atlas. I learned, here, as a matter of fact, I learned that if Rogue Atlas asks you to be on one of his shows and he tells you to respond ASAP, you need to respond within the day. Because if you don't, he will replace you with other people. And while I would say I'm heartbroken that I won't be on one of his shows, I'd be lying.
you lose opportunities.
And connections, I believe.
Connections.
Because based on who I know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a damn shame that I won't be on his show. Because the last one I was on was amazing. In a sweltering theater with no AC.
Oh, the Crest?
The Aztec.
Oh, even deeper in the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't tell if you're being ironic or not.
Yeah.
Not with Tony.
All right.
No.
All right, Anthony, did you win anything? Did you win anything
I
this
didn't
week?
win anything.
What did
but
you
I
learn?
did learn something. I found out that, people in the South, when it's raining and it's sunshine at the same time, they call it, they say that that's when the devil's beating his wife.
Okay.
I don't. It's just a turn of phrase.
Any context?
There's no context.
No, to how you learned it.
Oh.
Like, I wonder how you can say I'm going to beat my wife, but beat the devil at the same time.
Well, no, the
in the
devil's
South.
beating his wife. That's what they're trying to say.
Okay.
I didn't know the devil's married. To
Yeah, I didn't know that was. I guess it's a big turn of phrase in like Georgia.
The South does things and
Yeah.
different.
Let's just leave it at the
Like
South
lynching?
does things.
That's a different topic, different show. Racism next week on the hashtag DDP Live.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not. Fuck it.
That's a little different.
Yeah.
Shelby, did you pick up anything wisdom in the last week?
Yeah, so I learned that in the South, if it's raining and also sunshine. I guess I'm boring. I don't know. I was just like, yeah, I learned how to change frame rates on an animation program and save it.
So, Gotti, did you learn anything in the last week?
I did.
Oh, it's just she's going to be the one to save your. We're in a bad spot right now. Go
I
ahead.
learned how to shut Dowdy up on air on the podcast.
How?
Last week's show?
Yeah, I
You're a
totally.
Mexican comedian.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. We're for 30 minutes.
There
it
was
just
a whole
Spanish.
bunch of Mexican happening, and Dowdy was just sitting back like,
Who did you have here?
I didn't know that Mexican could be used as a verb.
It can.
if it's a
What's
Mexican
happening?
speaking.
Mexican.
Who's the comedian?
Rick Martinez was in, and CJ Lozano was also in. By the way, you got a hi from CJ. They just started
CJ bring his
talking.
puppets?
The bag
yes,
was here.
but they didn't appear on
They
the
stayed
show.
in the closet. No, Cuddy and Rick kind of just went off on Mexican myths and all the stuff that their grandmas taught them, and I just sat back and enjoyed my beer and saw what was happening.
Dude,
So-
I literally, no bullshit, I almost had a Vaporub and a raw egg under my bed night the other night just because I was feeling that crappy, and I almost went that road. Just because I was that desperate to feel better.
there you go.
That's awesome.
Internet
So you know exactly
listeners.
what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
Right.
except I call it Vaporu.
Vaporu.
You
and,
called it Vaporub
Oh, God, we're
with
doing
the
it again.
B.
I get the B at the
Vapo
end.
rub.
It's
Yeah.
happening again.
And then I get the raw egg under the bed, but you got to do the whole
Yeah.
Burn some sage.
You have to do the
Yeah.
egg dance
over
around you.
and then you crack the egg,
Yeah.
and then you're good.
Yeah.
I just hungry and mad that you guys are wasting eggs.
You don't want to cook that egg either because it's got all your.
Yeah, that's
got
what
all your
the egg
mofos and all the bad
does.
shit in
It
the
takes
egg.
all your bad juju
Did you say
out.
mocos?
What?
Yeah.
White
Like,
people
just
do
fire.
NyQuil.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Take
NyQuil.
cold medicine and
Yeah.
go to bed.
Yeah, what it's for you it's like NyQuil, 7-Up, and chicken soup. Like
Chicken
South Park
soup,
says,
that's
right?
it,
The
yep.
magic the medicine of the white man. Do you remember the SARS episode?
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god, it was
They
great.
were giving out.
Do you remember that one too?
Yeah.
You know about South Park, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
South Park SARS episode.
Jesus.
Oh my god, you got to look that up, dude. So the Indians give the white people SARS blankets. Right?
Yeah, and they
And the white people get sick with SARS, like 5% of them, 1 in 20. That's it, get sick, and then the Indian
like a
chief's
kill rate of less than
son gets sick,
10%.
and they're like, "What do we do?" They don't know how to do it. They do all their healing, shamans, and they're like, "We need the white people's medicine." So they went, and I shit you not, it was 7-Up, chicken soup, and Theraflu, I think.
That's the magic cure.
I'm just waiting to see how much of this episode you can describe before it gets like a takedown notice from YouTube. It's like, sorry,
copyright claim.
you've described this too much.
Content infringement.
Fucking ready.
That'd be a new one for me.
YouTube can lick my ass.
Let me finish this up with I learned a little something not this week, but just in the last hour alone. And it's been a learning process for a while now. Anybody who's been listening to the show knows that I'm getting married to Cotty here next year, and 5 years of being
Allegedly.
together, we've been learning each
Allegedly.
other. Yeah. What? There's still time to get out.
What?
No, but Cotty has certain phrases that she uses consistently. As much that my 7-year-old son I can say, what are the top 5 things that Cotty says? And it is, oh no! It is Chris. It is the
a sigh.
the sigh language. It is the whining sound.
Is that number one?
It happens way too frequent.
I don't do that one.
And I can't remember the 5th one. Desmond has it down.
Can I
Shelby,
interject? Are those all things she says while having sex with you?
It is the title of our sex tape. All the 5 things
Those
Cotty
are the
says.
most common. Those are all things
No.
In that order.
Oh no.
Chris.
In that order, too.
No. No.
I wasn't thinking sex because I didn't hear any giggles.
The fifth one, just like, I thought you'd be better.
By the way, to interrupt, James Beckham demands stop what you're doing and tell Shelby I said hi. Done. Now go away, James.
Hey, James.
But stay listening, though.
Is this the one? Ah, that's the one.
People love the shelves.
I'm staring into the microphone.
Final point.
Sorry.
Okay, so Cotty, one of her worst is the oh no's that she does with everything. Whether she walks foot first into a door jamb, a wall, trips on nothing, can fall into a pool that is only a foot and a half deep, and she's sitting, but still can fall under completely. Tonight, she was feeding the fish that our son is ever so wonderfully named Derek, and the fish stuff is sitting in a case on the floor, and from that position, she managed to spill like a third of the fish food out. But I'm in here in the studio, and I hear, "Oh no!" And I have to turn off the sound of everything, and I'm like, "What's going on? What broke? What's like? Do we need to go to the emergency room? I spilled fish food." The levels of her own nose need work because it is emergency status sometimes for the stupidest little thing. And then, when she gets mad, she goes, oh, no, because she fell off the bed because she wanted food. When she may have, bashed her face in. And she'll be like, oh, no. And it seems too soft and not worryable. And then she gets mad because I didn't care to take care of her. So I'm just saying your levels of oh, no, you need to start setting
What,
them.
oh, no, category 4?
Yeah, no, just yell out
Oh,
a number.
no, category 1.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're asking
okay.
a lot, bro.
Yeah.
Like, she probably reacts when she almost spills, too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
help
so
but
my
think
girl does
that.
that, too. Like, the other night, she almost spilled spaghetti, but she did the full, what I like to call the Rolls Royce. Just... Oh, my God. I almost spilled the spaghetti. I'm like, but did you spill... No, I almost spilled...
Like
what
she's
fuck
on the
is this
front of the
for?
Titanic, just...
Yeah. So, I get it, bro. I'm with you
I
on that
understand,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, you've done
Yeah.
that shit, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
get it.
The Rolls Royce.
And sorry, in the chat room, as you're doing that, I get a question from Mr. Hangglider Man. So who here thinks Buddha has a fat penis? I don't know where you're going with that, but I know where we're going.
Is that the real discussion?
Is
Wait,
that
wait.
sexual assault?
Which Buddha?
Happy Buddha?
No. The last Buddha or the one to come? The you talking about the fat Buddha or the one
The
before?
vegan Buddha.
Wait, the Buddha to come? Wait, what?
Oh Jesus!
Okay, and with that, we're going to
is
take a
degrading.
quick break here. We got coming up here the clam bake. Of course, we got a game tonight that Tony's going to take himself out of, and of course, the big topic of the night: Hollywood sex scandals, politics sex scandals. Can people come back from it? That's all coming up here. The hashtag DDP Live. You're listening to the hashtag DDP Live here on Longbox.FM.
Hip hop,
It is the Clam Bake here in the hashtag DDP Live in the Longbox.FM studios. And of course, Drink Riley's Brewing for no reason whatsoever. It's just really good and you should try
really
it.
delicious.
They have
Thank
four
you,
the hard
Riley's.
way. They have, always thank Riley's.
Yeah.
It really throws us off when we don't have our standards.
No,
but
we can't, yeah.
hey, I know, four the hard way, give it a shot. If you're not a big beer drinker, craft beer drinker, try this. It tastes just like sodas and it will gift you just as messed up as a regular beer. So, roofie yourself with four the hard way.
Are those here right now?
What?
Phrasing.
Do you have one of those?
I can get you. Yeah, we have a box.
I will give you.
I will roofie the shit out
I'll
of you
give
tonight.
you at least $1 for that.
Okay, cool.
Sweet.
And I will give
That's
you
a
a
deal.
pleasant time tonight.
Oh, you're that cheap.
No, I mean on the show with entertainment.
Before we go any further, I consent.
You can. Cool. We got it on tape.
I think we should start
confirmative
the
of
show
that.
off with I consent. I think
That
that's
should
what
be
we
the new
should.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I know that you mentioned earlier that Trump's been out of the news lately with all this sexual stuff, but he's trying really hard. He's trying really hard to get back into the top of the news. North Korea actually sentenced Trump to death for insulting Kim Jong-un.
It's pretty much a guarantee it's done, right? He will be executed soon.
Yeah, well, he said, in his famous tweet, why would Kim Jong-un insult me by calling me old when I would never call him short and fat?
Which is a beautiful backhanded insult.
Beautiful.
I'd like to mention, if he gets a good lawyer, he said he never actually insulted him. He said I'd never insult him.
Yeah,
So, look, let's just say tonight,
Good
Shelby's
lawyer, yeah.
all about consent. He's got this one figured out.
I guess he was on a marathon in that area to go to different, no, not an actual marathon.
I was like, that's
A
newsworthy.
marathon
Yeah, the
of
imagery
like
was
press
awesome.
conferences in South Korea and stuff, and he was supposed to reach the demilitarized zone. I guess he actually turned back, which North Korea found out that he turned back after going to the border, and they called him a coward, saying that you'd be sentenced to death in our country for cowardice.
I'd just like to note that I am the best at running. I can do a marathon if I want. I know all the best strength.
I got a question. With the death sentence, is Trump ever going to make an appearance in North Korea now for any kind of political...
That
Like-
would make him the first U.S. president
And
ever.
Just to say that he
Okay,
did.
I know.
on North Korea. That we know of.
I'm not this dumb, but Trump is also a guy who likes to say he's done it first or he did something no one else has.
Only Nixon can go to China, so maybe only Trump can go to North Korea.
Challenge accepted.
Who's the guy who if he dresses up like the basketball player that
Dennis
can-
Rodman.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
he's
loves
just gonna
Dennis
pull up and that's
Rodman.
like, aha, you're not gonna do it now.
Rodman's gone. Rodman's huge in North
Like-
Korea, dude.
Yeah.
Like Trump is going to rock one of those Mission Impossible masks of
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman.
He's gonna shrink 4 feet and become Donald Trump again. How tall is Dennis Rodman?
4 feet.
I know we need to figure this out. We
6'8".
should know.
That's a lot of reshaping
Oh,
of
really?
body mass.
Dennis Rodman's
It's
he's a power forward.
barely taller than I am.
He's a power forward. 6'8's pretty big, dude.
I'm 6'4", so that's 4 inches.
No, I know you're pretty big.
I guess we're looking it up here.
Called me fat.
Stand by while we
6'7".
There it is.
6'7".
Not bad though, right? You had Google.
He's
I was off by an
huge.
And
inch.
220.
That's what she
I'm
said.
off.
What?
He's really 6'7", or were you just shouting out a number?
No, that's what this says.
Oh wow!
So I said I got 6'8".
Damn, I can't believe he's so tall.
That's what she said.
Power forward. He lived
Little late.
Who did that? Like 3 years.
Steve Carell's here. Hit it up. That's next.
He's moving on with that Trump news. I guess he led there was a climate meeting in Germany this past week, and U.S. is really pushing forward that clean coal initiative, and he's really pushing forward for it. And they made the debut at the United Nations on the conference on climate change, and he gave a full-throated defense of fossil fuels. Nuclear energy is the answer to driving down global greenhouse gas emissions. So it was a gathering of about 200 nations talking about climate control and stuff like that. During the Trump's administration trying to demonstrate or trying to talk about the actual ways they're going to change the climate, there was protesters yelling outside, screaming. It was causing a huge fuss. They actually had to move out the protesters. It actually cleared out about 1 or 2/3 of the whole crowd, just pushing out all the protesters out onto the street.
Maybe that's why there was no War of November 4. All of Antifa was there.
So you're saying Antifa in
They can't
Germany?
afford plane tickets.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, can I have $20 for gas? and a plane ticket to Germany.
You've offended me so much, you must let me on your plane.
Speaking of planes, there was actually a recent report on the TSA about how efficient they are at catching actual terrorists. And to no surprise, the TSA actually fails most tests, actually up to 80% of the tests that they administered, they failed.
I thought the numbers would have been much worse for them, so I'm kind of proud. And
well, this is the second report about doing the TSA, doing basically a quality check, and I believe last time
quality check.
Everyone
Same
at this
thing.
table has caught as many terrorists as the TSA.
Is that like
Yeah.
a secret shopper type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, really,
They do.
They
do.
put-
They will
put-
try to take a plane on board. and they've
Excuse me,
succeeded.
sir, you forgot to fondle my crotch. Just random question. I'm not like a secret shopper.
Giving him a second and third chance to discover your bomb.
I've actually heard from other traveling comedians who have told me that they've encountered TSA agents because they were freaking out about bringing their weed. And then the TSA agent flat out told them, if it doesn't tick or go boom in the sky, we don't care.
What?
Cool. I've had a lot of run-ins with TSA. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm on the no-fly list. If not, what I've done in the last 3 months alone in the studio has definitely got me on it. It'll be funny trying to see when I get to visit my sister. The whole thing about their security checks is to protect Americans and all this crap. If they had ever found anyone, that shit would be plastered everywhere over every airport. The picture of the guy, what could have been done, all the stats. Because, when you go in, it's the advertising for TSA is overwhelming. Everything is just TSA. We're here for you. Like the big 1984-ish type of stuff. Like, you will strip naked and it's for your own good. We are TSA. Fuck you.
Take your shoes off.
Well, there have been several talks about this as well, that it's kind of like they say it's like a faux thing. It's security theater or whatever else. Is that the action of seeing it happening makes you feel more secure, but doesn't actually do anything to make it more secure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, did you see the video of the guy who snuck in behind a ticket agent and just got on the conveyor belt? Which, by the way, personal fantasy of mine.
I don't know.
Want to ride the conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Totally do.
I actually had I went with an orchestra to travel out to Europe. It was very fun and stuff. But just because I'm a bit of a cunt, I decided one of the guys that we were traveling with, his name is Nicholas Cocaine. So I kept yelling, "Where's cocaine?" and then on top of that, so they have my stuff do the go through on the conveyor belt, and the TSA agent hits me in the nuts like 3 times, like, "So are we gonna date after this?" And he fucks off. And then we get on the plane, and I realize I forgot a pocket knife in my pocket, and then on top of that, the outside netting of my backpack had a lighter and then a razor, and I was just like, "Wow, that's the level of security that we have."
Yeah. Before we go further on that, we have a phone call. I do not have my dongle yet. Thanks, iPhone, for eliminating the headphone jack, because that makes everything better. But we do have a caller. What's up? That's your chance.
Do you have it on speaker?
I just got done with my radio show up in Sacktown, so I'm just going to throw in a piece about the TSA real fast.
All right, who is this again? Sorry, I missed that part.
This is Jeff Crow. I've got my show up north in Sacktown here.
Oh, Jeff. Okay, what's up?
Oh, yeah. They're going to talk about this, mention the TSA real quick, like how they stopped Al Gore and claimed that they had no choice because he was randomly selected, and stupid crap.
They stopped Al Gore?
Yeah, they did. Back in the day, they did. They haven't stopped the terrorists, but they stopped Al Gore.
Well, clearly, fuck that guy.
That guy invented the internet. What are you
he's
talking about?
Man
He's
Bear
a national
Pig.
treasure.
Man, bear
Yeah,
pig.
exactly.
Super thrilled.
And, with the TSA, you guys, the airlines were happy as heck when the U.S. federal government used 9/11 as an excuse to take over all security at airports. It saves them money. Did our ticket prices go down, by the way? No.
Can I do drugs
they
with
got
you?
Their entire security apparatus federalized. And quite frankly, like you guys have said, they haven't stopped one terrorist. Otherwise, it would be announced everywhere, and we would know the guy. We would know
That's
him better
fortunate.
than we know the name Bin Laden.
Actually,
if they actually
I got to
stopped
pop
it.
in real quick, Jeff. I think actually TSA, they may not have stopped terrorism or any terrorists, but they have created terrorists. There's a whole organization out there called hold on. There's a whole organization out there called TSA that is one of the biggest terrorist groups out there. They can make people strip down to their goddamn underwear with no fight back.
No consent.
No consent. They can make you not fly.
There's some truth to that. Violating cultural norms. Back when security was private, which we didn't have a single hijacking since, like, I don't know, God knows when.
D.B. Cooper.
Of an American airline, at least.
I saw a documentary about that.
It's amazing. They actually did engage in protecting our privacy way more than government ever does, did, or will. And quite frankly, Ata and the rest of them, when they had gotten through, being that they were using small knives and small box cutters, that they went through we all saw the tape, they went through the metal detectors, didn't they?
Yeah. You need to call in for the Jeffy Potato Show.
Jeff, there's a couple things going on here. I feel like we need to have a whole other show involving
Get him in
this.
Fresno. Get him here.
Yeah.
Get his contact information.
And you're right. They create terrorism and they don't stop terrorism. It would almost be better for us to walk on planes with whatever we want.
Okay, before I got to bounce out because we got to keep going with the segment. Just answer one question for me. 9/11, us or them?
9/11, who did it, us or them?
Yeah.
I know that Osama bin Laden didn't do it. He was cleared by a federal court in 2009, formally cleared.
All right.
As was his entire network. So I would say rogue elements of our government possibly, but it would have had to been in the Saudi government as well, and probably a couple of others in the Middle East. You can't just pull it off with. There's no way to get through that whole thing without multiple people being involved. And so I don't know exactly, but I would say 3 to 4 governments tied with us.
All right, Jeff.
That's
Jeff,
a lot of government.
Jeff, it's a whole other show. I got to stop you there, man, because
Do we have 3 branches?
All right, so
Ask for consent.
I really quickly,
I feel
think
raped.
when you asked us or them, he should have just been like, yes, plus more governments. By the way, if you're still listening, sir, you make me smile.
I got to say, the 9/11 test has become my litmus test for who I'm talking to. Like, that's got to be my go-to on Facebook now. If I get in any conversation, like Colin Kaepernick, should he be Citizen of the Year on GQ? I got to start off that conversation with 9/11, us or them, and then I can decide whether or not to continue on with this.
Us? Did you disqualify me?
I think he's just doing that to be a
dick.
Contrarian?
A dick.
No, well, I think us.
I think you're far from it.
Well,
no, it's one of those things where it's very hard to.
I think
you're
us,
not speaking your
sorry.
mind.
Oh,
I
shit.
think
We're going to get more phone calls, man.
No, I just.
man.
It's
Get to it
really
later.
hard not
What
to
are
have
we
a
getting into here?
Over a smoke, we'll talk this through. But I think us.
I think what Tony's saying is that definity is hard to come
Right.
by on a topic like that.
But if you're asking my
it's
opinion,
not that simple.
which way I'm leaning, like I'm leaning that way. Me personally, yeah. And I can give you my
Jeff
reasons.
just popped in with, I'll go back to them. How about let's go back to the 4th story? Goddamn off the
I
rails
love
there.
the conspiracy corner in the middle of the clam bake.
Guys, by the way, tune into the Jeffy Potato Show. You can find it on Longbox.FM. If you want your scandals and your conspiracies, that's the show for you.
I forgot my tinfoil hat.
Number
I'm
4.
So
We have
speaking of-
extra.
yeah, we have extra. We have tons of it. Speaking of ball fondling, Roy Moore.
What the fuck?
No, but Roy Moore, he's had that big deal about underage kids, teenagers, things
It's
like
cool
that.
in Arkansas, man.
Yeah, no, it's totally. They just don't know the dating norms in Arkansas, apparently.
Do you know why 14 is the age of consent there?
Why
'Cause
is that?
At that point in the education process, they haven't learned no yet.
Yeah, you can't give consent. You're right.
Yeah.
See, that was a joke.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on with your fucking story.
Was that for me or for you?
Shut up.
I'll take that.
Roy Moore's got a lot of heat for this, but Sean Hannity has been getting a lot of heat for his opinion on Roy Moore.
Well, that guy's a ball of heat, man.
Yeah. His sponsors, Keurig, they decided to, since some of his comments talking about Roy Moore, decided to pull some of his advertising dollars, and that's pissed off a lot of conservative people. So what's been going on is that it's a response to the conservative talker's suggestion that women accusing Roy Moore of sexual misconduct were lying on their take, and set off now a familiar chain of reactions. So what's been going on is that conservatives, have been taking their Keurigs and putting videos online of them destroying their Keurigs.
We threw away a Keurig 2 weeks ago.
Marketing opportunity. Send them to me. I will destroy them, and they won't end up on eBay for sale. That's weird. I thought it was. I thought there was a little bit of a. I didn't know that was their official reason for that. I thought it was for the consent thing.
No, it was over Roy Moore.
It was over.
Oh no! I mean, that I was aware of.
Oh.
He was.
Get your sexual scandals in order
Yeah.
here. Yeah,
Oh,
this
no,
wasn't consent. This was just
was-
taking 14-year-olds.
No. I mean that the comment that I thought that was used in the transcripts of his show was that he was in conversation about the 14-year-old and then others, and then he talked about having consensual encounters.
Yeah.
And so they took that to mean that he was talking about the 14-year-old, not the older ones. And so the people that actually, like the watchdog group against him, sent that out to a lot of his sponsors saying, "You sponsor this guy, reconsider."
Look,
that decision, Keurig decided to pull advertisement money from the show.
So
I didn't want to get into that much detail.
Yeah, sorry,
but,
the ending's the same.
With Shelby, you're going to get the detail.
Yeah.
I'm always watching.
That's why I just skip. All right,
this is the standard BS that goes on with advertisers. They drop in millions on a Fox News program or a CNN program, and somebody does something stupid like Sean Hannity, like the old guy O'Brien or whatever his name was, O'Reilly. Or Kathy Griffin's allowed on air, and people just start pulling advertisements because they already got their 4-month schedule in. They'll take a couple months off after the heat goes away, and then they put their commercial money right back in. It's just all a scam. Like, we're a good company who cares about your thoughts, so we're going to pull the money. By the way, we have some really good numbers this quarter, so we'll go ahead and drop third quarter advertising in. So it's all cool. We look like heroes here. It's all just a song and dance.
But
if anybody's really,
because you get the conservatives smashing them now.
Yeah,
right?
now
So-
They
with
have to
golf
buy them again
clubs.
later.
Yeah, which they will.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they're going to start brewing their coffee.
I
and
thought
these
that-
assholes
they
are
just hit
still going to go
themselves.
out and buy the new upgraded Keurig or
Yeah.
get one for Christmas.
I'd like to point out
Wi-Fi.
that there was a very brilliant marketing tactic that Hannity did. When he found out about all these videos, he was like, "Hey guys, we bought, I think it was like 500 of another brand, like not Keurig brand. And and I'm not joking, it's like, to those who send us the best videos of them smashing their Keurigs, you're gonna win one of these."
Yeah.
So he turned it into like a raffle, like Oprah
Yes.
situation. He's like, "You get a not Keurig, you get it." Like that's lemonade out of lemons.
I'm just wondering what brand he decided to go
Nescafe probably.
Sadness.
with. Nescafe. I get that.
All right. Number 5.
Mankini wearing Borat tourists are still going on in Kazakhstan.
Oh,
and
Jeff,
they
this
are-
is your moment to call in.
and
No.
and they are still being arrested. Groups of photo.
What the fuck?
Yeah, right
That's
there. There's
still
the
a
photo.
thing?
That's still a thing. Kazakhstan is still arresting people for groups of tourists coming to Kazakhstan, getting in Borat's old swimsuit and walking around. And that looks like that looks freezing.
Okay, wait.
Is that
quick
actually
question.
illegal?
Is it illegal? You said groups, so is it like the orgy rule? A one, a twosome, a threesome of Borat bikinis is cool, but once you get in the orgy of Borat bikinis, it's bad. Is that part of it?
You're talking about a former Soviet state, man. The rules could be like
Anything.
super arbitrary.
Yeah, anything.
Okay.
Well, either way, it is illegal there as indecent exposure.
Okay.
They were fined $67 American. That's it. But it's still an issue.
That's it?
To
That's
the
it.
average Antifa member, that's a ticket to Germany.
Per day? Like per day, I'll pay $67 per day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but it's a big thing because this photo was posted online and comments were going like crazy from the people who live in Kazakhstan saying they wouldn't have reacted because it's our police are so insensitive, saying it happened if this would have happened Czech Republic. Would authorities react the same in
You live
their
in
country?
Kazakhstan. You pimp out your sisters, and Brother Belo's always in a cage because he's retarded. You have no... shut up, Kazakhstan.
Well, actually, Kazakhstan banned the sale of the Borat DVDs in the country.
That was their only source of revenue. Why would they do that?
And they threatened to sue Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh, just like how Kim Jong-un's going to execute Donald
Exactly.
Trump.
Well, he's
Fantastic.
been condemned to death. So.
Okay.
Can we do that here? Just start naming people we don't like. Like, if you ever sue, you're condemned to death.
Shelby Weatherby. Wait, we doing
death.
it already, or did I jump the gun on that?
Is this a sovereign nation?
Next story.
Cards Against Humanity buys a plot on the U.S. land of the U.S. border and Mexico border to stop the wall from being built. Now, I know everyone's thinking eminent domain. You know, I just picked it. There's no picture for it. I just picked a picture.
That's a perfect picture.
That is a perfect picture.
We're in a post 9/11 world.
That's true.
You're welcome, Kevin.
But this isn't the first stunt they've done. Years past, to combat Black Friday, they had them send people send them $5 for literally no reason.
Hold
Just
on.
People send them money.
We have another caller. What's up, caller?
Yes, is it the 3030 podcast?
Ah, God damn it, CJ. We're in the middle of a story. Keep going.
The next year, they also mailed a box of poop to people.
What?
And 30,000 people bought it.
So what?
Yeah, they say if you buy a box of poop up from us, we'll mail it to you. And 30,000 people bought the box of poop.
I would love to see the looks of the people like from the postal service who have to go through some of these that didn't get the right address. Like, I wonder what I got for Christmas this time.
And,
What's that factory? 30,000 shits doesn't come quick. Are you going to Home Depot and being like,
I believe in you.
Trabajador, you gotta drop
Trabajador?
deuce?
Did you just...
Those, just, yeah. No, I'm thinking white guy going, come on now. And so what, we're just importing sovereign undocuments to just crap because we need poop.
Who said they weren't documented?
I don't know.
This is a weird
It's not like
tangent.
You need to get illegal
everyone
poop.
poops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we
It's
can
not
all
like
relate.
it's not like
That's
the dude
the
at
name of a kid's book.
Home Depot's
we
poop
could-
is
yeah.
Everyone's.
We can all
cheaper than my
agree that.
poop.
I go to Lowe's
Yeah.
for my poop, so
It's not like I'm selling my poop. I mean, and
Why
then
not Home Depot?
I bet
if
you
they're,
could.
if they're ordering from China like they order everything else, well, there's like 1 billion people in China. That's
I'm
a
sorry.
lot.
Oh, that's a
This-
lot of
Yeah,
poop.
but shipping is going to cost you.
Can you get it at Walmart?
Well, you can just buy one big poop and break it up.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
what
is,
about Costco?
Well,
And we're all assuming it's human.
Costco poops?
We're
This
assuming
is
it's human
documented in
poop.
history. I was trying to figure out how to devise a way to get mass poop. And then I'm glad.
No. I'm sorry. You started with wall. I went to undocumented. We're talking
Yeah.
poo. Let's talk to the next
I don't
story.
know. There's too much shit flying around.
Oh,
right
look
now.
at you with something like that.
Oh, puns.
Go ahead.
Okay. Greg's Bakery. It's a big chain in Europe. You know, it's a for baked goods. You know, I guess. Yeah, they sell a lot of baked stuff.
Baked goods?
No. Actual pastries.
Edibles?
Yeah, they are edibles.
Okay.
They definitely are edible.
Okay.
So they actually got in trouble recently because they released an advent calendar where they replaced the baby Jesus in the manger with a sausage pastry.
Is that
Yeah,
marketing right there? Is that it?
That's
No.
it right there.
The three wise men hovering around a pig in a blanket.
A pig in a blanket.
Is that your nickname for Jesus?
Yeah, well, apparently not. Ooh, that's...
It's not. It's sausage too, so it's not kosher.
What kid did they get out of high school, like fresh
Well,
out?
sausage can be
that they
kosher.
just said, "Hey,
I
you're
don't know,
our
right,
marketing
you're right,
guy,"
Ken.
and he said, "You know, it'd be funny. Let's make baby Jesus like a sausage." That was a terrible idea.
There's people tweeting to boycott it, saying that it's anti-Christian.
Well, I'm already boycotting Full Circle. I can't boycott two things at once.
If anything,
Well,
I'm
it's a
more
bakery in
interested
Europe,
in.
so you're already boycotting it.
Oh, well, cool. Boycott by.
Congratulations.
Like you're not shopping there.
Is that technically a boycott if you're just not shopping
No,
there?
now, Tony, you just stepped on. I could have made a whole moment out of boycotting like a good American, and you just brought like truth into it and totally shit on it. You should you should get on Facebook more.
Yeah.
Ruin people.
I try to stay out of that one.
All right. What do we got?
And lastly, in this week in getting paid,
Oh.
Someone about to get paid.
a Walmart customer who broke his hip while buying a watermelon is about to get paid $7.5 million.
What?
Well, I guess they won't be rolling back prices for a minute.
A Walmart customer who broke his hip while buying...
Kenneth?
I just found that picture online. There's no picture of the guy. So I just picked one. That happens to be a fat guy breaking his hip in Walmart. That's one of the first few that came up.
I feel like we're being offensive right now.
That's Kenneth, but as he was leaning for the diet soda, went, oh no, and fell.
He fell into diabetes.
He wouldn't say, oh no.
Oh my God, we got a call from Tracy right now.
Hello, Tracy.
The city, not the person. Hi, is this Tracy by chance? Okay, what's up, Tracy?
Sorry to disappoint. Hey, I got 2 questions.
Okay.
One, can you describe in detail what happened at Full Circle Brewery? And the second one, I'll listen off the air. Who invented the World Wide Web? Thanks, guys.
Al Gore.
Okay. What happened at Full Circle Brewery? We got an image. I'm a rapist. It's the top one over there, IP4. Put it up.
Oh, God, here we go.
I'm a rapist and a murderer, and then somebody pushed this, some idiot pushed this throughout the internet, tagging a whole bunch of people's Facebook pages, over 300 times on one page in particular. So there's, like lawyers that got involved in a bunch of stuff. And apparently you can just call anyone a rapist, and that's why, Tully and the crew, they meme business. So, yeah, so, it's stupid. You could go back and watch the last few shows. It started off early in it, and it's boring. Let's move on to this final story. Basket
me my money.
Oh,
there it is.
There we go. Yeah, so he actually got his foot stuck in a pallet of watermelons and fell over and broke his hip, but they determined that he, since he broke his hip, he was going to get the money.
I love that picture.
That wasn't looking at the security camera footage. He wasn't the first one to trip and fall. He was just the first one to trip and fall and break his hip.
Wait.
Yeah. So they say that it was negligence and it was a danger.
I don't understand how that happened. Did they have pallets around?
They stack them on these boxes on pallets. Yeah, and in the boxes are the watermelons. So he goes to reach in for one. His foot gets stuck on the pallet part, and he falls over and
that's literally what happened with the whole McDonald's hot coffee thing. They had with the lady.
Yeah.
They had hundreds of people that ended up putting in complaints that got actually very bad burns, and nothing happened until that lady pushed the law.
Exactly. So it's $7.5 million. I bet for damn sure those pallets are going to be pretty safe now.
They're baby proofed.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find the video, and all is this going to be like a new trend where we're going to start posting watermelon videos at Walmarts? People just throwing watermelons and going. That's going to be a thing, right? This is going to be like the planking or the Harlem Shake.
People just start throwing watermelons down so they break their hip.
I guess you got to pop, lock, and drop it or something. Okay, I'm done with this. Let's go ahead.
Pop, lock, and drop it out.
Yeah.
Clams are baked.
To answer the caller's second question.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The internet, right?
Yeah.
It was actually ARPANET, which was a small military intranet that they designed, and then they just expanded the use of it to the public.
I think you're talking about the individual.
I'm going to trust what he said.
I don't know who the individual was.
Can you meme it? Because if you can meme it, it's real.
It's ARPANET. Look up ARPANET.
Okay.
And that'll give you the predecessor.
Wow,
of the
that's really useful information.
And as much as I care, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about 9/11 during the break. When we come back, we're not going to talk about that because we're going to be talking about rape and sexual assault and all that fun stuff, and to see if women are just wrong in accusing people. Yeah, there's a stinger for you. It's the hashtag DDP Live here in the Longbox.FM studios. You're tuned in to hashtag DDP Live here on Longbox.FM. Ladies and gentlemen, the hashtag DDP Live here at Longbox.FM studios. And of course, make sure to drink beer. And if you're going to do it, drink Riley's Brewing. It's a good thing. They're good people. And they don't pay us. They don't encourage us to do this in any way. We just state it because, we're good people and we love Jesus.
We like talking about things that we like, right?
Dude, I think I have a free hamburger card in my wallet. Yes.
Oh, free hamburgers.
There you go.
How can you give... You have to get those hamburgers.
Yeah, we all went as a group one night, and pretty fantastic.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Where is this?
Temperance and alluvial.
There you go. Temperance and alluvial, yeah.
Focus.
But we're not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
No, not at all. I'm just
made me
referring.
happy.
No, yeah.
He's my friend, and I like him to eat good food. So
Okay,
Yeah.
so ladies and gentlemen, we're back here. We're live on the show. I know some people, they're taking their breaks too, but go ahead and, do like we're doing with Riley's and give us a share real quick on the social medias that you're currently on while you're watching this. And understand every time you do that, one of Corey Feldman's angels gets their wings. So go ahead, hit that share button, and let's talk about, speaking of Corey Feldman, sexual abuse.
dude, I saw that Dr. Oz. It was so awkward.
Yeah.
We interviewed him a couple weeks back.
Yeah, no, he was here.
We actually initiated the entire downfall of the Hollywood scene because we talked to him. I asked him a question about
Precipice.
that. He didn't want to say anything, and then he said a little bit, and then the world blew up 3 days later. Harvey Weinstein dropping, and then just, so really, hashtag
You
DDP
can't
Live.
take credit
Totally
for that.
taking credit for raping kids. No, phrasing.
No.
Obviously, in the news has been a lot of... it's been almost enjoyable to watch an entire society, an entire group of elites, just like they're eating their own, they're falling apart, and the what I think we all believe or want to believe, this hidden world of pedophilia, this hidden world of sexual assault, the casting couch, all that type of stuff. Just crumble and burn as people start getting thrown out there left and right. Kevin Spacey, that one came out, which was a heartbreaker, hard to believe until he goes, yes, I did do it. By the way, I'm gay. So, first off, Ellen, he pulled an Ellen move. We all knew he was gay. And again, now he's playing the protected card by being, he's gay, so we can't say anything bad about him. So he was one. The Harvey Weinstein thing. Recently, Mariah Carey was accused of sexual assault. Terry Crews announced today the person who fondled him.
That was funny.
Wait, that was a while ago. Was that another one?
He announced it. Name
he announced
today.
it. He announced he said the name of who it was
Oh,
today. He went on Good Morning America.
The William
right
Morris
on.
Agency.
Terry Crews, that's awesome.
Yeah, so and it's the hashtag Me Too that was started by someone, but Alyssa Milano jumped on it now. And I actually talking with Cuddy the other night. The hashtag Me Too kind of took me. Threw me for a little bit of a loop because growing up, I have met a lot of girls that have confided to me that something has happened to them in their life. Which at one point in my life, I was like, "What is it about me? I just find all of them. Like there's only 20 out there, and I've met 15." Seeing the hashtag Me Too popping up, it was like, okay, is there any? Would it be easier to have a hashtag Me Not to figure out which women haven't had something happen to them? Shelby.
I would like to say, when I first saw that, I hate to use the word problematic, but when you put hashtag Me Too and you make it as broad as, and it said, paraphrasing here, if you've been sexually assaulted or sexually harassed, what actually constitute sexual harassment? Because whatever your metric is for that may change from person to person. And there are people that think if you say, hey, have a lovely day, like they've said that's sexual harassment. Like there's the girl walking around New York who said every time a guy said anything to her, that's sexual harassment. And then there are people who have legitimate cases. So I find that to be a little bit troublesome because it's too broad. And if getting an unwarranted compliment can be considered by some to be sexual harassment, then I can't take that as seriously, or I don't want to put that on the same level as somebody who's sexually assaulted. And then the heavier cases of somebody coming onto them in sexual harassment.
The harassment, I can understand that one. Old co-host Alex here, I work with him in my day job. That guy has fondled, touched, and hit my balls dozens of times in the last 2 months that I've been at this job.
Was it consensual?
No, it's never been consensual. The guy just keeps doing it, man.
God, between you two, it's always consensual.
You just have the look in your face that says, I want it.
Yeah.
It's only consensual because
now there's another guy
Never
who's
mind.
starting to do it. Like, it's been encouraged. So if Dowdy gets his balls touched, so let's just line up anyone who wants to. Like, but
geez.
I'm not looking at it as sexual harassment. At the same time, I've been let go from a company because of sexual harassment.
That
was
didn't actually happen.
Yeah, it was something that, again, Alex started a conversation with me. This girl overheard it. She's one of those that can talk about, let's just say Jessica Garcia, if we're going to name something. She would be the type of person who would talk about she only dates guys with huge cocks, but then we're making innuendo comments to each other on a totally separate thing, and would be turning around going, that is totally inappropriate and you can't do that. That type of girl. To where the actual the final thing where I got let go involved, we were arguing about something completely different. I was proving my point. 10 minutes into the conversation, goes, well, Dowdy sexually harassed me 2 weeks ago, which my reaction was like, well, that's it. I'm out. I know where this is going. You know, I'm in a corporate workspace. It's the ultimate weapon that can be used. So I think there's a lot of people who, with all these allegations coming out, there's just anyone who says, I don't know, I can't take it for truth yet because obviously it hasn't been in a court, there's no fact laid out there, unless you got a Kevin Spacey who announces or says they did it, or CK or Louis
that
CK.
would be the fact. That'd be the proof.
Yeah. There's a lot of us going, well, I don't know. Like, the falsely accusing thing, maybe we haven't seen it yet with the celebrities, but it's going to happen. There's going to be a case. Football has it all the time, where you get the girls who say that he raped me and did stuff. Well,
That happens to teachers too.
Teachers get played.
You literally, your life gets lost, and regardless of outcome, especially if you're innocent, you just don't get to teach or do anything anymore.
Yeah, the accusation enough is most times just as damaging. So.
Well, Louis C.K. in his case, the day before he made a statement, and it was pretty quick between announced publicly, even though I guess it had been an open secret for a long time in the scene. After it was announced publicly, he lost Netflix specials. He lost bookings
movie
were
deals.
all done. Kevin Spacey. His thing, that was also a quick turnaround on his part, but he was already being rebooked. His role in a movie being recast by Christopher Plummer, like quick to react, all following up in the trail of the Harvey Weinstein, which is like the biggest, like, you know, one of the top guys in Hollywood.
And he's still denying it, right?
Can we be clear? Like, I mean, like, I guess we all agree that this, you know, like what they're being accused of are reprehensible things, right? Like,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But no, I get it. In those instances, though, like, what should that not happen is my question.
Actually, may I field that question?
Yeah.
Because I honestly was thinking about that as you're saying it. Here's the thing: I don't blame any company for dropping anything that's going to lose them money. If you're a company, you're out to make profit, and so on and so forth. The thing that I think would stop it from happening isn't the reaction of those who employ you or anything else. I think what would stop people from reacting so harshly is really properly convicting or making legal stipulations to false allegations. Because that never happens.
I accuse you of, let's say we work at an IT company together, and you just start funneling my nuts on an almost daily basis. Okay, but if you didn't actually do that, and I accused you of it, there's got to be a penalty that comes to me.
Yeah, you should be fired.
Because you got fired already.
Yeah, so there actually is a case that was recent about this. It might have been one or two girls. They were found to have been lying, and I think they got. It might have been like 3 or 5 years or something like that of jail time.
It's like the first time that's really happened.
But yeah,
right?
and that's like groundbreaking.
Yeah, that's like a new thing that just happened.
But by the comparisons of that, it's like if it gone the other way, you can get a shit ton of jail time, prison time. You'll clearly be somebody's prison bitch without consent.
And it's totally happened too. People spend like 20 years in jail on false rape.
So I honestly just think if there were negative ramifications for lying in these instances, that maybe people would just be less inclined to lie to begin with, and then that would make the people that are not lying and that this goes through and it's found to be true, that those things where those companies immediately terminate people, at least those would be somewhat more solidified, just by the fact that you might weed out some of the bad apples or the bad cases because they just don't exist as much.
Okay, but like, all right, here. I don't disagree with you at all. I understand that there should be stipulations. There should be penalties for false accusations if you're destroying somebody's life. I mean, obviously they can pursue civil action, and they do in a lot of those cases, and they get paid. And that doesn't make it right or anything. However, my concern is that if we start doing that or making it harder, effectively what you're doing is you're increasing the burden of proof on a victim. Mm-hmm. Right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now,
however, let me finish.
Oh,
and
okay.
But like, I'm not trying to like argue or anything. I'm just saying like, let's consider that, because as of right now, a lot of victims are already hesitant to come forward, right? And so if you put something like this in place, like, I think that will adversely affect that even more. And I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying this is something to definitely take in consideration. So that's all.
There are key words there to be said. The United States has its system of legalities set to such a high precedent of evidence on purpose. They'd rather let 10 guilty guys go than one innocent guy be convicted. And when you say you increase the burden of proof on the victim, you increase the burden of proof on the person who is accusing, not necessarily the victim yet. I mean, that sounds bad, but you are not supposed to prove your innocence so much as the person making the allegation has the burden of proof against you for whatever they're accusing.
So the victim is lying until proven right?
Well, no, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Well,
for the accused
But yeah,
person.
so conversely, by you saying that's what you're saying
but
to
this,
the victim, though.
This isn't done in a private police headquarters, given like, the 24 years it takes to actually convict and do something. This is done on a Twitter account or put out there with your publicist, and it's just, and media snaps it up and runs.
But even then, even the media, I think that's public opinion, though, and I think like the media obviously is responsible for that. But like, even though the media says Harvey Weinstein accused of sexual harassment, right? The way they're portraying it is that he's already guilty.
Well, he's
like,
admitted to a lot.
Yeah.
He admitted to it beforehand.
Or I mean, that's just one
Well,
example.
even
Right?
Yeah, fair enough. I'm sorry.
That's just like
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
even when they say that, they're like allegedly. Even though they say allegedly and all that, like, we have already made our opinion, our decisions. You see what I'm saying?
Let me pop in real quick to a point you made earlier, Tony. When it comes to the difficulty of people to come forward, Rebecca Corey, the comedian, she was one of the accusers on Louis C.K. She's actually been a guest on the old Dirty Daddy podcast back in the days. She posted up today a response that she got on Twitter for her stuff. She said, here's an example of just one of many tweets I'm getting. The tweet comes to her with, you piece of shit, no talent, vindictive cunt. Hope you're enjoying your 15 minutes of fame, because in 2 months you'll go back to being just another unfunny female comedian. All I did was ask if he could jerk off in front of you, and you're making him out to be this evil monster, you fucking scumbag. And so I'm sure she's got a whole lineup of Twitter responses. Again, social media allows just any jackass like this person. I don't know anything about whoever sent this, but this guy already just screams jackass.
Yeah.
But the attacks. So now if somebody's been a victim, they can see this happening, and that's going to make them less likely to come out. So just to add to your point of the difficulty of coming out to say something, it's actually a brave thing to do, which is why
It's different.
I kind of believe the initial round of attacks that have happened in the last week and a half. What happens in the following week and a half, I'll be a little more skeptical.
Well, so and I didn't mean earlier when you were saying about victims lying until they prove themselves to be accurate. And it's not so much that, and this is going to get to what you're saying, is that I will always maintain that you should reserve your opinion or whatever it is until all facts that are relevant and truth come to light in their full context. Because that's where I'll make myself look like an asshat if I don't do that, because I'll find out I was wrong about something. And I don't like
Not
being
on
wrong.
Facebook.
But at what
but that
point
being
do you decide that, though?
But well, generally speaking,
you can't. You know what I mean? Cause
so that's why a lot of this stuff, when it comes out online, I make jokes on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and then somebody will say, well, what do you think about this thing? And I'm like, oh, I don't have an opinion until I truly know everything that's going on, because if I give that opinion, it's so much worse if I'm just non-factually or just going by how I feel about something that is my opinion on it. And when we were talking about this, I would say, somebody is brave for coming out about that. I think it would be braver if they came out about it when it happened, because it's a little bit of a weird. I get that
that's hard.
There's strength.
Yeah.
There's strength in numbers on
I
these
don't
things.
agree with that.
I don't.
Well,
Well,
no. I
I
can get where he's going, because it's almost, is it a trend?
That's what
I
I'm trying to say.
understand why you want to believe that,
Yeah.
but I don't believe that
It's not that I
would
want
ever happen.
to believe that, but because I do. I do understand safety numbers. I do get that could be a huge factor in somebody coming out to something like that. But I didn't mean about whether or not I believe it or anything else. I mean, we were talking about the measurement being bravery. I do think it would be more brave to be the person to initiate the allegations when it first happens, to say, hey, I was doing this thing and Lucy came on to me.
You mean like today, Roy Moore, the politician running for Senate in Arkansas, has got someone accusing him of doing a bunch of stuff, underage, working on her, but that happened 45 years ago.
In the 70s.
And that would honestly, one, it'd be easier to prove had they come out when that first happened, but that's neither here nor there. The whole point of me saying that is that, again, there is a level of bravery it takes to come out about something that's very terrible that happened to you. But I do think had you just gone out to be the first person, that maybe other people would have come out about it, and these things would have been squashed and taken care of earlier.
I believe, in hindsight, you're right. A lot of these people think, oh, yeah, I should have been the first person to talk about it. But when you're in the moment and a lot of people, it's trauma. It's trauma.
That's a very logical way of looking at it. But these victims...
Humans aren't logical.
Yeah, I feel like they would not be very logical. Yeah. So they wouldn't do what is expected or what
that's a fair point.
Should be expected.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's my thing too. Like, I mean, when Dowdy says like I'm gonna have a hard time believing people that come out for the next week and a half, like I won't. And here's why. Like, basically what I think is happening is it's sort of an analogous situation is racism has always been wrong, right?
Yes.
Fucking always wrong. Period. I don't care what year it is. Racism has always been wrong. Yeah. Has it been legally wrong in this country always? No. Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't. So, like, a black man in the 1950s saying, dude, I swear to God, this dude was racist to me, coming out, who the fuck's going to listen to him at that time?
Yeah.
Let's be real, right? Nowadays, racism is wrong all around, right? Yep. And it took a long time to get there. Mm-hmm. So, sexual harassment has always been fucking wrong. Yep. Period. Having to suck my dick to get a role is wrong. Mm-hmm. Period. Always. Whatever year it's been, I don't care if it happened. I don't care. Yeah. Now, the environment and the climate is getting more towards where the same with racism, where like, okay, everybody's on board. This shit is wrong now, right?
Let me piss you off real quick.
Can I do that second?
The racism thing, where now you can come out and say it, but I think that we've also seen, especially in the last couple of years,
I don't disagree.
Where racism is the go-to bullet you fire.
It wasn't. Like now it has.
Yeah,
right?
I know. But now is it going to be, and where Shelby was talking earlier about the sexual harassment aspect of something. Like, I walk in, I work with this random girl, Cody, at this job, and I pat her on the back. I'm like, hey, how are you doing today? You look really good. That's sexual harassment now. When, goddamn, I'm trying to pay a compliment and try to brighten the day of my coworker, but people have been hit now for that type of thing.
Well, we don't legislate for the extremists.
Okay. May I go a step further, by the way, Tony? The analogy is quite strong, but one thing I will say, and it depends on your point of view, and for instance, if you believe things should be regulated a lot, and so on and so forth, depending on your level of morality or whatever where your stance is, and this is probably not a popular opinion, and I'm not necessarily saying that it's mine, but if you are a hardcore libertarian, and somebody actually says like the casting couch you said, we know it's been around forever. I mean, you could argue into Broadway and before there's really featured films.
Right.
Who are you as an adult to tell another adult what they can use as an advantage or disadvantage to further themselves in a career? And again, I'm telling you because, we there are Australia legalized prostitution a while back, and that actually their divorce rates have gone down, and everything else. But if you it's a random thing, but. I mean, if you
only you know this.
Do they pay taxes
I love it.
on that?
But that's a thing to consider. Where we say we can always agree that saying, hey, again, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but because I have to say this out loud, is that if we're gonna say, well, it's always been wrong to further yourself in whatever you're doing with the sexual favor advance or using some looks you have. Some people might not say that that's actually always 100% wrong. I mean, on average,
I don't disagree.
On average, I forget where the polling came from, but if you're taller, you will make more money on average than somebody shorter. If you are more attractive, more money than somebody who's less attractive. Unfortunately, men more than women, so on and so forth. And I'm not saying that's why it should be, but that's how it is. And again, if you're an adult who understands these consequences, if you're saying, well, if you're Carrie, was it Carrie Fisher, the Leia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Fisher,
like Hollywood Secrets. Like, didn't she fuck to get that position? And nobody's crying.
There has been the whole history about some girls were taken advantage of. Some girls knew what they were doing.
Right, and I'm not saying there's not girls that are willing to suck a dick to get a role.
You don't know how many.
I
like you saying that.
There does need to be a clear difference. There does need to be,
But like,
some
I shouldn't.
separation.
Like, she shouldn't have to.
She shouldn't have to. I agree with that.
That's
yes.
my point. It's like she shouldn't have. Like, okay, if she sucks a dick, does it benefit her? Okay, that's not up to me, and I can't legislate that. Right? That's fucked up. It's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
But I can't legislate
She shouldn't
that,
have
right?
to.
But she shouldn't have
But
to.
it's very fucking different from the girl that had it happen that did not want to.
I don't disagree,
And
and that's what I'm
that's,
talking
And
yeah,
was
and that's
not
where
willing
we're
to.
all on
That's
the
my
same
point,
page.
and that's where we're all saying, and that's why I'm saying that it's. And I'm not even talking about legislation. I'm talking about society as a whole.
Yeah.
Now everybody's like, okay, this shit's fucked up.
So
Let me pop
Sorry.
in real quick from the internet. We got Tony Martin's been
Oh,
a guest
God.
here in the past. He says, okay, first off, he says I don't believe anything women say, but that's a
Yeah.
life in a basement, man, in Baco.
And that's
no.
a person I used to like.
No, he did say
watch
Louis,
out, he'll draw a dick on your birthday cake.
when it comes to Louis C.K., he says he'll
Works at a
be
bakery.
back bigger than ever in a few years. His first comedy special is where he addresses that this will be the biggest of all time. That's just from him, and we want to hear from you. Please, now I got my dongle. 492-0450. Hit me up, and we can get you on air to talk about this.
Hashtag triggered.
What does a dongle
Every time he
do?
says dongle, like, I'm triggered,
Yeah.
dude.
Is it
Me
just
too.
the
It's
cord?
an adapter. It's,
All right, so you can
Then
now
say
that I have my
adapter,
adapter.
bro.
Say
It's not
that.
politically
Yeah.
correct
they
to say
call it a dongle.
Who the hell came up with that
They
word?
call
Apple.
it an adapter. No one calls it a dongle.
See how
What year
triggered
is
everybody
this?
is over a
Is
word
this
that
the
sounds
80s?
dirty?
I hate all of you.
Whoever
so
came
much.
up
I'm
with
more
that
mad
word.
about that he's calling it the
Hashtag
wrong
triggered,
thing.
dude. Quit calling it a dongle.
So, Ray,
Boycott
Whoever
dongles.
came up
Boycott
with...
dongles.
I feel like
That's
you're
what
trying
it
to point
is.
out that my dongle's smaller or something.
God.
I don't even want to have this.
Listen, so long as you're not hung like a half a pack of certs.
Oh.
I get it.
My
Sorry.
dongle's
got it.
2
Yeah,
inches long.
okay, so let me pivot here a little bit because we were talking before the show outside. We were Louis C.K. Now, obviously, we got a couple comedians in the room. We got 1.5, and
I'm the half. Yes, he's been in so many more competitions. He's like
he's
is the
got
one
a
and a
belt.
half.
He gets the one.
Yeah, I don't.
No,
You're the
Nice
fractions.
jokes.
Louis C.K., who is beloved by so many people, and because he's a straightforward, very honest guy with the way he's the blue collar. He's Joe Rogan, but actually likable.
Yeah.
I like Joe Rogan.
I said likable though. That's the other thing.
Just because Shelby likes him.
Do
doesn't
people
make
not
somebody
like Joe Rogan?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people
Yes,
who like
Shelby.
Joe
I
Rogan.
know I like
Joe
him, but
Rogan.
yeah, he comes off as a dick.
Yes.
By the way, Joe Rogan, please, I know you're coming to Fresno. Be on the show.
Yeah, you cunt.
dick. Come on, I think you're a dick, but
come on our show
you should
and
come on
prove
our
you're
show
not a
and
dick.
Prove
yeah.
me wrong.
Yeah, come
I
as-
made an
yeah.
allegation.
I think that Joe Rogan has
If
2
you
volumes.
if you put him to sleep,
Tag
I have
Joe,
no
yeah.
ending to that. Just please do.
Okay.
Tag Joe Rogan.
The
in
Louis
this.
C.K. thing had to
Yeah.
do with, for some reason, the dude's got the fetish where he asks comedians to come up to his hotel room like they're all hanging out post-show, right? Which I don't feel is like the same dirty hotel room as the Harvey Weinstein hotel move, which apparently is a frequent thing, the hotel move with everyone. But he invites the girls back to his hotel room. They all want to hang out because he's a big guy and he's doing things in the industry, and it's good to be friends with people who are popping. And he asks, "You guys mind if I pull out my dick and jack it off?" Which, I could say the same thing right now in the studio. You guys would probably laugh and be like, "Okay," because it doesn't seem like a normal thing. Like I'm going to actually follow it up by pulling out my erect penis and start jerking off. We also have high tables here, and I got a small dick. He did all of this though, and when women said yes, it's cool, he followed through. Now, we all want to talk about it. He's a scumbag, and he's dirty, and this is disgusting, and he's just a freak, and he should just disappear, crawl in a hole with Harvey Weinstein. They can each jack off to each other. But, Shelby, right outside, you were talking about how it's actually not wrong what he did.
Well, okay, that's.
And I phrased that bad, but go ahead, phrase it the right way.
Well,
Yes, he did a very good job at explaining his opinion on it.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to say is it's important to have the articulation, the difference between there's a difference between like pushing somebody and then curb stomping them. So that's the best reference analogy I can make.
Wow, you brought racism back.
I got it.
Are you talking about American History X?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the most prominent example of curb stomping.
But that
it's happened many times.
I grew up in foster care. There are a lot of other examples. Anyways, that being said, I've
seen one.
When I see somebody who's actually without consent and even had people say no, or I'm not okay with this, and then you still go after them, do what you're doing to them, I don't consider that to be the same level as somebody saying who clearly has some issues, especially it seems like self-confidence issues. And I'm not excusing him, but when you go up to somebody and ask for permission to do something, and then in cases they say no, and you say, I'm sorry, I have issues, my bad, that's not okay, it's not what he should, but I don't put them on the same level, because one was actual sexual assault, and one was somebody in bad taste coming up to you, telling you what their fetish is, asking if you want to participate, and you saying no, and then tail between the legs walking off.
Well, there is one instance where I believe he walks in and they say he's wearing winter clothes or something, and he says, "Hey, would you guys mind pulling out if I pulled out my dick?" Everyone laughs, but no one says yes.
So in that instance, what I was made aware of,
I take laughter as a yes.
We're all saying yes to you.
But my point is that, and then he proceeds to take off all of his clothes and start masturbating.
Which, by the way, in that scene, you don't take off your clothes very fast, especially an overweight guy too. There's struggles I've learned as I've gained weight in life. The clothes don't just come off. Like Jim Carrey and Bruce Almighty, where he goes pop and they're gone.
That was so hot.
You're sitting there watching a guy undress. At one point you go, the door's right there. I can just leave.
So two things here, because
that would be a thought for a logical person.
The issue that I have here is okay, first from the accounts that I had read about this,
I just read the New York Times article.
He didn't completely disrobe, which would actually make sense, because then it wouldn't take you as much time. From what I was made aware of when I was going through this, trying to figure out what was going on, because he doesn't matter that much in my life. I keep living, he does his thing. But from what I heard, he asked that they said that they playingly or laughingly said yes, jokingly. And that not disrobing completely, but just pulling it out, which would take literally half a second, kept doing it. They're laughing nervous, they said hysterically laughing nervously, didn't know what to do, and they said before anything could even go further, he ejaculated. I'm getting really into detail on that, but the reason why I bring all this up is that the difference between what you said is that, from what I had read, from what I heard, that they actually said they jokingly said yes, which is still saying yes, even if you hate it, and I get that. And from what I'm sorry, hold on.
He hit the check mark.
Time out. And from what you said that he completely disrupted time. So even if they didn't say yes, they would have known and walked out. It wasn't either of those things. It was a mix of the two. But I think that's important to make the distinction of. And like I said, I'm not sure if I'm correct about that, but that's the way I heard it.
Yeah, same here.
So there wouldn't be time to walk out.
People are going to hate you, but
I get that, but
you make such...
There wouldn't be time to
make sense.
I get it.
There wouldn't be time to walk out if he just whipped it out after you saying yes laughingly. So that'd be shitty.
Yes,
at the same time,
and he's not blaming you for not walking out, because at that point in time, you being frozen and just stuck in hysterically laughing is entirely understandable. Entirely understandable. Not making it right.
But it shouldn't be taken as consent.
That's not consent. Nobody's saying that's consent. Nobody's saying that's consent. The joking laughter in the beginning is mistaken for consent.
If somebody jokingly said yes,
it's not disconsent, right?
Not.
Do you know what I mean? Okay, I'm not saying it's right? But that's hear me out. I know where you're going, and I think you're sensitive because it's just, I get it's a sexual thing, and I get that, right? It's his hang-up.
You guys mind if I undress while you guys are doing this?
Yes, see?
Sorry.
That's all it would take. Is a sternly...
I heard yes.
Is a stern flat out, yes, I would mind, right?
I thought you said address. I gave you consent to the wrong thing.
You're thinking now, if somebody had done that and he kept going, he is the asshole you think he is. That's fair, right? But if at any point in time during that whole thing, somebody actually flat out said, dude, just in case you're not joking, no, don't take your shit out, I don't think he would have.
And this happened. I was in a gay bar. Don't ask why. And
I've been in plenty of gay bars.
No, well, so this, but no, but well, thank you. I'm glad.
I've been at gay bars.
But this is literally this is something.
Drag shows are better.
This is.
Do we just Me Too gay bars?
You're gonna kill him.
He's talking.
So this is something that happened though. Is that I went out with some fans and some friends there. And,
oh my!
Thank you, George DK. Grab my dick later. But the thing that happened was I went in the restroom. A guy came up to me who actually recognized from other from outside of that whole instance, And he said, "Whose is bigger, yours or mine?" While we're peeing, and I'm like kind of drunk. I look down and like currently you are. You're big. And then like as I mid piss, the guy just grabs my dick, and I didn't like again. Everyone's reaction is different, but to lend what Tony was saying, I literally looked at him and went, "Whoa, dude, not cool. I'm straight." And he said verbatim, "Oh, my bad, then." And I was like, is that just normal if you're not straight? But the whole thing is, what Tony was saying is like, if he had said like, hey, can I grab your dick? And I was like, and then he did grab it. Like, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? There's a visceral reaction sometimes. And you say like logically, if somebody's logical, they would say that, but they weren't being logical. But how many instances can somebody not be logical?
Go ahead.
Well, it happens all.
Again, I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's just I try to think
I'm not
of all
defending the rest of them. I'm just defending
understand.
Louis in this one. I am.
I understand that you're not trying to be an asshole. But god damn it, every single person would want to be fucking logical about everything in every fucking situation. But if you're in that type of situation, no matter how much is in your mind of what you should do and shouldn't do, or should say, shouldn't say, you have no way of expecting how you're going to react.
That's fair.
Okay. Also, how you react, you have no way of expecting how the other person is going to take your reaction as. So if you're not brave enough to say, no, I'm not okay with this, you might laugh, all nervously, all awkwardly, but inside you're thinking, no, I'm not okay with this. I don't want this to happen. But the other person is not hearing that.
And so do we blame the person who's not hearing it? And that's part of why there is some hang up between, because I'd like for it to be cut and dry.
And that is why all these people are coming out and saying, this happened and I wasn't okay. And people are saying, well, you never actually said it wasn't okay. How do we define this?
So
okay. Here's how we define it, right? Like most people who are like sexually harassing and sexually assaulting don't ask. They don't give a fuck. Right? And I'm not saying that makes it okay, right? But like he asked, like he knows he has a hang up. He knows it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about this instance. We're not talking about the rest of them. So we are not defending the rest of them. Be clear. Let's be clear. We're not defending the rest of them. I'm just defending in this instance. And even in that instance, yeah, he fucked up. Just because nobody said no, like, dude, I wouldn't be okay either. I'll be straight with you. I wouldn't. But does that put him on the same level as the rest of them? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
On the same
that's
level,
all.
I
think that's really all we're saying.
Yeah.
It's not that he didn't fuck up.
Yeah.
Not anything like that. Just that. Yes, it's weird that's his thing. That's fine. I'm not judging him for that. In the instance where like he whipped it out in a group of people just because nobody said no, yeah, that's fucked up. But is it as fucked up as suck this dick or you're not going to be in Titanic? No. Like no,
Steven
that's
Spielberg.
not the same. Not the same.
That's why
you know what I'm saying?
Matt
Like,
Damon never made it.
Yeah, that's all we're saying, right? So in that instance, we're not excusing it. I think that is still fucked up. Were I in the room, were I one of the dudes, even if there's girls around and he's like, dude, you guys mind if I whip it out? And I don't think I would say no, just because like I don't think he's serious.
Yeah.
Honestly,
right?
as a guy, I'd just be more curious. Like, what?
Yeah,
does
I would
it
just.
look like?
I feel like,
That's
like,
a
he's not
loaded
gonna
question,
fucking do
though.
it.
Do
Yeah.
you like? Okay, I was joking while you're saying it, but I could do it again. You guys mind if I just undress here? Like it's gonna be part of the podcast. It's gonna be funny, but I could actually do it. And then you're kind of stuck in that weird spot.
Right, but I'd be all,
What do I do now?
Yeah.
And by the way,
that before.
I didn't mean to say that that like the logical thing. Or just I meant like you put your hand on a stove on accident, you jerk back from it. Somebody goes in to punk you to try and punch you, you jerk back. Again, I'm saying I'm not
a lot
saying,
of jerking coming out of you.
Thank you. But and again, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that there are some reactions of discomfort. Hopefully that are kind of universal or that are more of a go-to for people. And that's the whole thing. Is like I just how do I put this?
All of your examples seem physical. That's the thing.
Well, if a guy started jerking off in front of me, I'd probably cover my eyes, yell, "Stop it," or leave the room. But those are the first reaction for me. I'm not saying that's everybody's reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I mean to say is, and it doesn't take me going into deep thought about what I should or shouldn't do on that. I just mean that like sometimes you just have an immediate reaction to things. Mm-hmm. And again,
it might not always be what you hope it would be.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm trying to go by all ways of viewing this because again, you're right. If they're uncomfortable and they are not able to express it due to just being purely shocked, part of the issue is if he's just asking people this question, he's already that kind of screwed up. Like even asking people while he's married and has kids, if he can do that stuff, how well is he able to read the room if he's already doing that shit to not notice if people are uncomfortable and then say, oh, you know what, I said that, but you guys weren't into it. It's all like, I don't know how well he's able to do that. I'm not giving him a pass on it, but I'm saying like the waters are a lot grayer than I'd like them to be, and at least in terms of saying like he definitely knew they're uncomfortable. He definitely was like the worst person for this. And again, this is by context of the full context of me saying, is he on the same level as Harvey Weinstein or somebody who literally went up to somebody and sexually like grabbed them by their genitals? But we were talking about Kevin Spacey. If I'm in the room with both of them and I find out one person did one and one person did the other, and I have to say one person leave now because I don't want you next to me, I'm gonna go with the latter.
Okay.
Sorry.
This is why I actually was excited to have you on, because you were. It's too easy to be like, no, they're all bad. They're all bad. It's just, it came out. Actually, like, listen to KMJ 2 days ago. I got my heart broken with another allegation. It came out with Tom Hanks.
Oh. Being too nice?
Yes, he had too many acts of kindness. But they went through, even though they were doing tongue-in-cheek and spelling it out, it still took me too long to figure out that it's a hoax going on. But I was already going through my head going, no! Not him. I can't even look at volleyballs the same anymore.
Life is like a box.
But it's. But I do believe you have to be careful with the allegation thing, because again, immediately just hearing this on it's not a comedy show, it's news, and they played it tight. But still, it was just it blew. Like I'm thinking, I can never watch these shows again. Like right now, I love Kevin Spacey, man. I'm not watching American Beauty, especially American Beauty.
Usual Suspects?
Usual Suspects? God, that's going to hurt, too.
Okay, so that also comes to the question, by the way, and people have their opinions on it. Outside of me having my own opinion, can you separate an artist from the artistry?
Not right now.
Well, so no, and I don't even mean just in that case. I mean, like, I don't crucify him for this. I'm a fan of jazz. And I met a guy who I was a huge fan of who plays jazz trumpet, and he was one of the biggest assholes. So I got a cord wrapped around my leg. He's one of the biggest assholes I've ever met. And listening to his music afterwards, especially for like a week, I was like, I had a really sour taste in my mouth. But like, it's been like 4 years, and I still listen to his music. I'm like, this is fantastic music. Now, and I mean to say that, like, at what
you do
point,
that thing you do where you separate you.
At what point do you say, like, this offense is so bad that we have to Fahrenheit 451 all of their work?
I'm not saying that in any way. I'm saying me personally, and I have
on a personal level,
4, 5, 6 Kevin Spacey movies in my DVD collection out in the living room. Specifically, watching American Beauty and watching House of Cards, which he plays a predatory guy that in sexual situations, in homosexual sexual relations too, on that underage girl in American Beauty. That's going to be one of those that you're watching and going, woo, too close to home, man. There are things that will be difficult to separate art from person, and I'm talking right now. We're within a week and a half.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's fair.
Because like I said, sour
I made the joke on Facebook. I'm like, what was this method acting that he was doing in those movies? A little too skeezy on, and that's really too bad.
To be fair, if I ever see Kevin Spacey in a movie or a video game, I just automatically am like, well, there's the bad guy.
Well, he's
there
always,
now. He's always the bad guy. Yeah.
Except in K-Pax.
He
was the bad guy for making that movie.
Well, the other question is I like the. Is this random? I like the movie 21
with
the guy from Across the Universe. Do I stop watching that movie because Kevin Spacey is in it, or do I keep watching it because I like the guy
you'll hear
from Across the
people talk
Universe?
about you're supporting him and therefore you're bad.
No, but Kevin Spacey gets his ass kicked.
Okay,
movie.
He does get his ass kicked.
So, but then so I'm watching that movie. I support it, therefore I'm bad. All right, you buy your clothes made in sweatshops in Korea and China, therefore you are bad. Where
dude, my family's got to eat, dude.
Where do you...
But that Korean sweatshop wasn't on CNN.
My family's got to eat, bro.
It wasn't on Fox.
Buy those clothes.
And it's not in the current cultural aspect where we need to jump and vilify.
Okay, I'll give you that.
And I'm saying vilify like I'm not trying to not sound like an asshole. I'm saying vilify like this is just what we do. We do jump on like we are all probably salivating, and I say we, I mean anybody listening to the show right now, salivating, waiting for the next one. Because doesn't it feel like tomorrow there's going to be the next one to come down?
For sure,
the dominoes are falling.
For sure, and that was my point about like the setting now. So like I hope that does happen. I want it to happen.
Yeah.
I want people to. I think it's a terrible thing.
You want to drain the swamp.
Yeah, no, every
I get it.
Say it. You want to drain the swamp.
I don't want to. I'm not talking about that, dude. Like, think about it this way, right? Like, we as guys, we know that there's a whole subset of porn for casting, right? Like the fact that it's a fucking porn fantasy should show how misogynistic it is as a practice.
Honestly, this is gonna sound random. I still never have actually watched.
Do you know what I'm saying, though?
Yes.
So wait, okay, hold on. Let him finish this. Let him.
You've never watched
really
the porn?
Shelby hasn't. Shelby.
So I didn't even know, but I was like,
but it's an
sound guy. Put it up on the screen.
No,
I'm kidding. No.
That reaction, that was priceless. That was a real reaction. Look at you went into shock.
You went into
shock.
I'd rather watch Remember the Titans or good anime.
Please don't focus on my business partners
There's
like that.
no
Like,
any Shakira music video.
I was like, no.
Shakira, her hips can't
So
lie.
wait,
But you know what I'm saying? So, like, the fact that it's, like, an actual subset of porn, like, shows how misogynistic the practice is, right? And it's a terrible thing, and I think people should fucking pay right now, and I think there should be a big old witch hunt, and yes, I'm sorry.
Witch hunt's not the right word.
Yeah, I got you. You're right, it's not. You're right, it's not.
Sorry, I'm always
I know it's not.
like,
He knows it's not the right word, because the witch hunt implies that there will be some fucking false victim, false accusations in there, and he's right. But the truth is that it is going to be a witch hunt because there will be some false accusations going on. That's the fact. I don't want it to be a witch hunt, but it will be, right? And I shouldn't be happy about the witch hunt, but I should be happy about the increased exposure, and I should be happy about the fact that more people are going to get railed for it, and rightly so.
I do think that there's going to be a change now. I think in Hollywood, the change will be every meeting with someone is going to have a third or fourth individual there as well.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
But the casting couch is just going to move to the club.
Yeah. Or somewhere private.
It's still going to be a thing.
And also,
here's the other. I'm so sorry. The last one is the Terry Crews thing, dude. Like, this is how you know how fucked up it is and how institutionalized it is. Is that some other dude thought he could put hands on Terry Crews' junk.
Terry Crews, man.
Without getting fucking destroyed, right? Because he knew
if he flexes too hard, he's going to knock you out.
Of power.
You make a good point. I'm actually disappointed in Terry Crews for not pounding that guy.
Do you know what I'm saying, though?
He walks up
because that's what I'm saying. That's how entrenched the system is and how institutionalized this shit is and how fucked up that is.
Yeah.
Is that Terry Crews could not pound the fucking ever-loving piss out of another man.
His wife was there, too.
That's all I'm saying,
hey,
dude.
You know what worries me on all of this stuff, and I know we got to wrap up here.
Yeah, sorry.
What worries me on all this is we're talking about politicians, we're talking about Hollywood people, we're talking about people that none of us in this room, I'm sorry, you have a belt, Tony, but you're not a part of that. That's a glass, that's like 18 glass ceilings above us, okay?
Yeah.
But
It's true.
I'm going to be attacked on Facebook tomorrow or another day for something I say or do. I'm going to be looked at bad, or the way I touch someone, because there's going to be the level of, now that it's out, now you can't do this or this or that. Like the new version of the social justice warrior with racism, with everything that we've got just the last couple of years. We know how tight it's been about labeling and putting people in boxes. This is going to be the new one, which is a shame because there are actual victims out there who are not going to get their day. They're not going to get trusted, who are going to be shamed because you have other people who diminish their act. When someone comes in and pats you on the back and says you look good today and you claim sexual assault because they touched, you're diminishing the person who was actually a rape victim.
Agreed. Everybody agrees.
And this is bullshit. Yeah. And that's something that needs to stop.
Right.
I like the Hollywood, let's unfold it. But goddamn, I don't want the new. I don't know why I'm thinking of her, Heather Graham, the new wannabe Heather Graham, hoping for her moment in the sunlight because she wasn't a good enough actress. And totally, again, I don't mean Heather Graham. Please come on to the show. But
Rose McGowan.
I'm sorry. Who?
Now we're just throwing names out there.
Because Heather Graham actually admitted that she almost went to porn because her career was going.
Okay, sorry.
I can see somebody who isn't talented enough or beautiful enough or whatever it is, the thing that you need, that uses a rape allegation to find her way onto a screen.
Okay, but we can't we can't argue for them. Like it doesn't matter. Like that's gonna.
You said it
happen.
earlier. You can't deal with the extremes.
We can't legislate for the extreme, dude. Like
well,
we shouldn't discourage other people from coming.
And that is an extreme.
We shouldn't sit there and be like, all right, but like what if? No, fuck them. If that happens, we'll deal with them. But like for now, if you bring it up, like we're going for right now. Initially, I'm gonna believe them. I'm not saying society as a whole. I'm gonna believe them. That's my opinion. That's my choice to do. Right. I'm not saying everybody has to do that or even should do that. I'm just saying that me initially now, I'm like, all right, yeah, that might have happened because I can see that happening.
Shelby's got something to say, and I got one final question, a round of it, and then we got to bounce.
All right, so I just devil's advocate on that. Not even really that much, but when we say for the extreme, at one point a study came out that was very much false that said like 1 in 3 college girls were sexually assaulted, and then they actually did a massive study. I'm sorry that I don't have this on me. I didn't know we were talking about this. But they found that it was actually like more like maybe 3% of actually college girls were sexually assaulted on campus. Now one it's terrible. It shouldn't happen. But when we say the extremes, when we say, well, the person who's lying about it is uncommon, we don't actually know if it's uncommon, very common, or more common. We just know that is another factor of something that can or has or does happen.
Right.
So when we say we can't talk about the extreme, what if in theory it's not the extreme? What if it's actually in line just as often done as it is not?
I don't know, because like my counter argument is like, okay, for you to say that only 3% actually occurred, but then like my argument is, okay, what about the however many percent of victims who don't report it? Right? How does that skew your number then? Because that'll increase your 3% too, right?
Okay. Well, then
so there's no way. Yeah. So like my point though is like we can't legislate for either extreme. We just have to do what we can, right? So like when it goes out right now, as I said,
prepare for the extreme.
Prepare for it. Like as long as my thing that I'm happy about is that more people are willing to entertain the possibility that it's happened and that these people are actually victims.
I like that. The falling
versus initially. Not these bitches are lying, right? Which is what would have happened. And I'm saying now, like it's better that people are going to be like, all right, yeah, shit's fucked up. And if more accusations come out, more accusations are going to come out because I believe that, because I can see that shit happening. There's no way only one dude was getting his dick sucked for roles, right? That's not happening.
By the way, my mom just joined. Cool. On that.
I'm just being real. I
have one final question because we do have to end this up.
Yeah.
When it comes to all this, the whole point I was making for tonight's show, redemption side.
No.
Is there redemption? Now, and I bring this up because Mel Gibson hated Jews, and
I still hate Mel Gibson.
And then he's now working.
He still hates Jews.
Yeah, he still hates Jews.
But he's working again. All these now, Harvey Weinstein. I know Bryan Cranston said something about. I saw a headline about there's a way back for him. I didn't click on it. Sorry, clickbait. Don't do it. Louis C.K., because as you guys have talked about, he's at the bottom end of the offenders for what he did, and you brought up Shelby Consent. And Tony Martins was talking about, too, that he's going to be coming back. This is a wish hunt, all that type of stuff. Is there redemption? Is there a coming back for these people? Is there forgiveness for people who've talked? Can they actually be redeemed? Is this just going to be a thing?
No.
Connie's got to know, and you need to go potty.
Like blanket no matter what. In any case.
Can I? I think
I read something about there's forgiveness and there's redemption.
Okay.
They're two different things. You may have one, but you may not have both.
That's fair. I see. Yeah, you can't redeem the act, and I think that's a fair statement.
Because redeeming kind of says you did what you did and there's no consequences. So at the end of everything, you're basically good.
Yeah,
you're fine. You never did anything wrong.
I don't think that's cool because redeeming means like you did something to like cancel out the bad act, and I don't.
Yes, exactly.
I think when Dowdy is saying that, I don't think that he means it cancels out. I think what he means to say, because he just mentioned you acknowledge the past occurred, but you can still have a future in something. Mm-hmm. I don't think his version of redemption is you did this, it's now gone, and we're good again. It's you did this, we acknowledge it happened, and after I don't want like Catholic Church, but like repentance, but like you can then start to build up and go up again. I think that's what he meant.
Okay, hold on. I'll say Mike Vick, dog rings. 2 years in jail. He comes back. He got to play for many years, and now he's a commentator. He's still involved with the league. You got Mel Gibson. He hates Jews, and he's a drunk asshole. He disappears for a while, blackballed completely. He's back doing stuff. Michael Richards, N-bomb, done. I haven't seen anything from him.
Yeah, so would it be more? Would it be more fair? Yeah, that's a good point. Would it be more? Would it be more fair? Would it be more fair to say then, not necessarily redemption, but do they have a possible future?
A comeback.
Comeback.
Okay. That's a better question.
Because I don't want to get caught up on technicalities.
That's so different because a comeback basically refers to a career. So it's kind of saying all you care about is your career.
I see you're going analytically, and I like this
bullshit you did.
I'm
sorry to interrupt you.
No, I'm interrupting you. It's my fault.
I kind of feel like there's a difference between if you're a famous person and you have a career on the line or whatever, and this shit comes up. So you either gain forgiveness or you get redemption or whatever, you get a career going on, or you're a simple regular person and you don't get a chance to get any of that.
Normal. Here's the question then, are you saying that this is one of those things where you do it, you're banned for life, like sex offender? So does this I get it because they're technically sex offenders, right? Because that's what should happen then. Should they all be branded and labeled and registered as sex offenders?
In some cases, yes, legally.
Depending on the act, right? Legally speaking. So in that
sex offender is an end-all be-all there.
Instance, should that be an end-all be-all in Hollywood is my question.
My brother, I hate to actually, I should have said somebody, but he
Kenneth.
No, sorry. No, he once, Kenneth, God bless his heart. No, he once actually posed a question to me, and it's a thought experiment. Let's say you have two neighbors. Again, just like you have two guys in a room, you want one to go away forever. And he posed this question, and this is, again, it's a bit of an extreme, but if you, for instance, were to have somebody who's a non-acting pedophile next to you who never will and never has actually, a non-acting pedophile, somebody who's attracted to kids but never will actually do anything, right? Or let's say they never will. You can tell the future, right? Versus a guy who's never
tell the future.
Well, as again a thought experiment. And then you have a guy who will never touch a kid but beats his wife all the time. Which one would you rather still be next to you? The guy who has that issue, who so on and so forth, who's trying to be a better person, who will never touch a kid but has that in his head, or the person who's actually doing something
actively.
Because that poses the question when you say there's no way to come back from that.
We see this on the daily. Well, it feels like the daily, shooters, mass shooters, because we get one. I can actually count my paychecks by shooters. You get the stories of, I didn't know anything about this. They seemed always cool. So you get this whole they don't show the behavior. So you can't. Your logic here is talking about a guy who doesn't actively do. It's hard to do.
But I'm saying, let's say, I'm trying to remove all
You're
other factors.
trying to break my brain, man.
Removing all of the factors. If you know everything about both their past and their future, but just one has that issue. I'm trying to give you a point on that, saying when you say there's no redemption, no anything for a person, and one who's there's an issue between those two things if one has never actually committed the crime but it has it in their head. When we talk about whether or not somebody can be redeemed or more so try to work at being a better person, do I think there's room for? Because you've seen these court cases of somebody. They had one come up that went somewhat viral of a guy giving a hug to the dude who killed his son, I think.
Okay, hold on. There's a lot of pee that has to happen in this room.
Oh yeah.
We've been on this for a minute.
Yeah,
Let's take a break. We're not doing the game tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rope.
Is it a fun game?
And we're gonna come back. Game. We have the dowdies that we can do, but I think we dumped that. We can finish this off. We do need to finish it off. We'll condense it. We're gonna take a break. You've been listening out there. You take a break. When we come back, hashtag DDP Live. We'll falsely accuse people like Tom Hanks and Ted Danson. They're all bad people. We'll explain why coming up next here. Hashtag DDP Live. You're tuned in to hashtag DDP Live here on Longbox.FM. It is the hashtag DDP Live here in the Longbox.FM studios. It's been a night. This is what I like about the change. Anyone who's been around for, I've been doing this in some variation for 10 years.
You're old, we get it.
But the change was I wanted some serious conversation happening. I think we got it tonight. I know
with comedians.
I've gotten some text messages from people. This was rough. Cotty doesn't want to be around on this point because
it's a touchy subject.
Especially Shelby, you're such an asshole. But you are, yes. And as I said outside, I don't understand why you're a comedian. You should be a lawyer because the way you think and talk. Although no one should want to be a lawyer because that sucks.
Makes me sound like a reptile. Thank you. I just
cold-blooded.
I always have criticism, or not criticism. Sorry, I always have skepticism in my head. I always want to make sure I don't.
You talk the way
I
like to think. I think on Facebook, but I talk more stupid with your thoughts, but stupid speak, and getting more and more in trouble. And of course, social media is a bad way to try to actually convey a message to anything. It's hard to talk about a subject like this without. It's easy to just say, someone made an allegation, done, bam, bad. Go away, die, go to hell, you're done, whatever. Because gut reaction, the public opinion of court. And you look, Trump got elected. That means at least 50% of the people who voted wanted, or 15, whatever, was willing to say that guy was worth more than the other person, which was also bad. That was a terrible analogy. We had no winners there.
That was a really bad analogy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad.
But, I mean, the argument that you could be made that, like, at least 50% of the country felt that it's okay to elect somebody who admitted to flat out just grabbing a chick in the pussy. So,
which at this point kind of feels like the least of transgressions versus what we've been talking about.
I'm going
to get hate mail. Go ahead. Dowdy at Longbox.FM. Go ahead and send it.
Segment of thought of no, like that's as weird as a connection as that is, I honestly I don't think people went into like their polling boxes, and I can say this, I didn't vote Trump. I actually jokingly put Nixon Agnew down on my ballot because I found a pin that said Nixon Agnew while I was cleaning my house. That being said, I don't think people went in like, I'm okay with grabbing by the pussy. I think they looked and said, I can at least agree to the policies and things that he says he's going to make versus this other person who I very much disdain. Because I don't think people look at it
I'm not saying that they expressly said that, but that's kind of what they said, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a package deal for sure. I just don't think...
Sorry. I'm not saying it was expressed. Like,
I just thought somebody was like, this is the worst of this person, and that's the worst of that.
I'm not saying they were hopping in the ballot box like, gruck and grabbing pussies. Woo! Presidente!
There's at least one person who did that.
Bro. Like, I'm not, maybe
Harvey Weinstein did that
right?
one.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like...
Well, I just want to make sure we weren't saying, like, they both compared the worst and then went that way.
Not at all. Not at all. I was just simply saying that by voting, they were, like, somewhat implicitly saying, but it's okay.
Going back to the point, so what we're taking away from this is that you want to have all the facts before you really jump on basically the bandwagon of condemning someone.
It's just that as a trying to be, I don't know if I'm a good person or even like a decent person, but what I say is at risk of making myself look, or even just on my own level, being okay with myself as a person, I can't just jump in haphazardly and say without knowing everything about any case whether or not somebody is innocent or not. And really what we were talking about is, can Hollywood be redeemed? We had a hang up because I wasn't sure that we were on the same page as what our metric was for redemption. If we have the word redemption, and I think Tony put a good way outside, he said, it's not can the action be redeemed, it's can the person be redeemed. And I hate to quote like Walking Dead, Morgan's an awesome character for that, but he says where there is life, there is potential. I even if you've done terrible things, if you're still alive and at some point you've come to the terms you've done those things and you want to be better for whatever, if you get kids, if you just want to be a better person, if you met somebody, whatever it is, I don't think it should be denied to you that you have the ability to just try to be better.
Right. And
Okay.
and implicit is that is an acknowledgement of massive wrongdoing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You gotta.
I think one difference with this whole case and scenario, I mentioned Michael Vick earlier. Actually went to jail, did his time.
Right.
Yeah.
These cases, sexual assault, rape, all that, it's almost rare that someone gets convicted and then put it on Hollywood level or important, rich, connected people level. Damn near impossible that anything's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think there's a bitterness that's just you hate them no matter what. There's no coming back. You're not allowed to.
But but then at the same time, I think that if we have to give the system the benefit of the doubt, I guess, right? Like that something will happen just because it hasn't happened in the past. Again, historically speaking, countless lynchings went unpunished. Countless terrible acts like that went unpunished, but they don't now, right? Well, I hope they don't go now, right? I'm not saying that. God, please, right? Whatever. But,
Okay,
certain
sorry.
memes
but
will
you
tell
see what I'm
you,
saying, though?
yeah.
Like I'm sure, but whatever. But if they occur, they're punished, right? And there's enough, like it's that happens, right?
Yes.
So like in the instances previously where this shit happened and nothing happened, like let's hope now that because we as a society are like, all right, this is terrible, should not have happened. Something needs to happen to them. What form that will take, I don't know. But you're right. I think a lot of the frustration is anticipating that nothing will happen. But at the same time, like, that's wasting energy, right? Because until we know that nothing's going to happen to these fuckers, or whether it's one of those things, too. Because, again, like Shelby says, we want to know everything, but, like, how can we really ever know everything about one of those instances? Sometimes there is no physical evidence to, like, a sexual assault, right? There's no
testimony.
Like, she didn't go home and, like, take pictures of the bruising, right?
He said, she said.
Yeah, he didn't squeeze hard enough to leave a bruise, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no real physical evidence. So at that point in time, like, at what point in time is testimony enough, right? And again, both ways, though, right? Like, at what point in time should testimony be enough to where, like, that's all it takes, really?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I get it. And that is the difficulty of the justice system. And that's why...
Well, that's why we have it in place.
And that's why there are juries. That's why I don't have to make that call. 12 other people do. You see what I'm saying? So it's somebody's job to prove it. And that sucks that they're going to have to do that, right? But at the same time, if they want these people to see justice and some sort of penalty so they can possibly get redeemed later, I don't know. Like, the only example I was going to make about redemption was everybody knows, well, most people know that Rob Lowe, way back when, got busted on tape having sex with a 16-year-old girl, underage, state of California, statutory rape. Bam.
Jeez.
Don't know that he went to jail. Know that it was that. But at the same time, like, we also know that he was the young version of number 2 in Austin Powers. So it's not like his career was destroyed. And more people know about Austin Powers than about
He
the
did Parks and
statutory
Rec.
rape.
He got to be the
Right.
KFC guy.
You see what I'm saying? Like, Rob Lowe is still working. So terrible things, I guess, can be done. But it's been a long, hot minute. And a lot of the time what you have to do is you have to let society forget. And that's the only way that's a lot of this is going to happen. But depending on how big this gets and if anything happens to these people, then like if nothing happens, then some people are just going to be hated forever. But
But by the way, I would also like to say I think all bad actions from any party are bad. But the people that sounds stupid out loud. But what I mean to say is that the people I hope that get hit the hardest with this are those the casting couch guys. Like,
right.
As much as I think anything that anybody does sexual assault wise is bad,
it won't happen.
The people I would because those are the people I think make up the system as much as anything else.
As I said earlier, the casting couches can move from the actual physical casting couch that we've all, except you, apparently seen on videos.
You know the meme, though.
But it will move to...
I had to Google that.
A different...
KnowYourMeme.com.
God bless Shelby.
It'll go to a new place.
I love
Where
my
did
part.
Google take you?
Let's wrap this. We have the Dowdies. All I have really, I wrote down hashtag consent because that's Shelby. Yeah, hashtag consent, and apparently you got a hashtag consent everything these days. Did you got anything, Anthony?
I got hashtag Costco poops. I got hashtag boycott dongles. I got hashtag Asian dongle.
A lot of dongle going
a
on.
lot of dongles.
Hey guys, give us where we can find you. I know Comedy Hop is your thing.
Yeah.
So give us some love.
Shelby and I do Comedy Hop. Our next show is December 6th, right?
Yeah, it's actually Adam Hunter. I think he's been on Leno. He does a lot of he runs an MMA roasted page. He's done a lot of behind the scenes with I think like ESPN and other sports companies.
Yeah, he was actually on screen for Sports Nation.
Yeah, so he did a lot of the joke writing for these people to make fun of other athletes. A lot of it is him. And the guy, he's a machine gun of jokes. You give him, like I tell you, you give him 30 seconds, he's going to give you like 10 jokes, and they're all going to be good.
Yeah, he's amazing. So come on out December 6th at the Standard, Fort Washington or Friant. Shelby and I put that on. We do one show a month out there. It's a great time. $10. If you sign up for our email list, you probably get maybe half off tickets, maybe free. Who knows? Just sign up. It could be anything. It could be a puppy. No, we don't give away puppies.
Here's bills.
Especially in emails.
Yeah. But it's a great time. Other than that, you can find us at Facebook. Is it .comedy hop or?
So Facebook, there's I think it's Comedy Hop Fresno page. Okay. It could be Comedy Hop. I apologize for not knowing better. There's also an Instagram for it's Comedy Hop Fresno.
Yep.
That specifically for Comedy Hop. And like I said, we do have the email list. If you would like to get a hold of us for that, maybe you can hit up Dowdy. We let you know who's coming to town, when they're coming into town, where you may have seen them, all that stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, we get beasts. We get some really good.
And then your personal social medias.
Oh, personals. Everything's at Tony Lay Comedy.
There it is.
I'm not super active on it.
And him and I are good at this.
I'm working on it.
And Shelby, yours one more time.
Pretty much everything that you can find me on is going to be SS Weatherby. And I would like to say I started a new YouTube channel, or actually restarted to push a lot of a bit of comedy, animation, and skits and stuff. So that is also SS Weatherby. That's where I'd like people to try to get more traffic to, because I'm really trying to invest in it.
And you are also a big cosplayer, but we're going to have to do that you have to come back into the show. And it's going to be a cosplay. I kind of want to get into this. I think we need to do a show where everyone cosplays.
Shelby don't half-ass nothing, man.
Yeah, it's actually cool. Technically,
I need to show you.
Cosplay as?
So my girlfriend and I won the San Francisco Comic-Con. At the couples. She was Buzz Lightyear and I was Woody.
That's dope.
She's badass. And then literally the first thing I made was the game Halo. I made a custom Spartan suit. I'm 6'4", when I wear it I'm about 6'7", 6'8".
Oh,
and it's got full lighting, internal fan system to keep me cool.
And a working minigun, bro.
If you go to Shelby's page, you can see some of the pictures. He's actually, and he's been Woody. He's got his shit down.
Shelby don't half-ass nothing.
All right, we're gonna do a cosplay show at some point. Maybe early next year, because that sounds like fun. We can do that. I got to show you, Shelby, outside after the show, Cuddy's Halloween costume. Maybe you'd respect this. She was a vending machine. Dope. So you need to see what we put together.
It's pretty dope.
And that is going to do it for tonight. Next week, there is no show. I'm going to travel. I'm going to do shit. And we come back in 2 weeks, and we'll have some more talk. I really enjoyed what happened tonight. I hope we can keep going with this. I'll give it up. No more Tully. No more of that bullshit. Let's move on to what's good and fun. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out tonight. This is Dowdy saying for Tony, for Shelby, for Anthony, for Cotty, and IP4, Word.
Word.
You've been watching #DDP Live on Longbox.FM. The opinions expressed on #DDP Live aren't necessarily those of staff, management, or sponsors of Longbox.FM. If you have been offended in any way during this presentation, you should have turned it off long ago. #DDP Live is a presentation of Longbox.FM.